I was informed by several people who follow my work that there is a coming event at the European Commission, in particular from the European Beating Cancer Committee, that is called also BECA, BECA, and that is on Thursday, the July the 15th, and my people that knows me, they said that I should write an email to them. So this is what I did. I wrote a very simple email of 4 lines, but now let me tell you what is this event on the 15th of July. So this says that the rapporteur Véronique Trillet-Lenoir will present her draft report, Strengthening Europe in the Fight Against Cancer, toward a comprehensive and coordinated strategy. And then there is the link. I study this document. Is a 24 pages document, and she was presenting this to the members of the Beating Cancer Committee, and with John Ryan, Director of Public Health, Director General of Santé, and the meeting will be streamed live on July, so I plan to attend to this. Anyway, what I wrote in my very short email, I put on the subject line that I had a parliamentary question that was asked from a member of the European Parliament, and so the subject line is a parliamentary question related to BECA, to this committee, and to Chapter 2nd of Beta Draft 2020-22/2267 INI. So, dear member of the BECA Committee, I was advised to send you material for your evaluation regarding a strategy to reduce more than half cancer mortality, because this is what it does, my project. Now, the Chapter 2nd of your BECA draft, the 2020/2267 INI, presented today, titled Inconclusive Screening and Detection of Cancer, in item 31 and to 41, are mentioning the word screening many times. However, what is missing is a device effective for cancer screening. And I wrote these few words, however, what is missing is a device effective for cancer screening, in very big letter in red, so that they could not miss my message. That is the important message, okay? And then I put the link to their document, 24 pages. And then again in red, but a smaller character, I wrote, my proposal is to build my 3D CBS, three-dimensional complete body screening invention, and test its effectiveness on a sample population. So what's more honest, realistic, practical things to say is not just making advertisement publicity, but I commit myself and say we should test it on a sample population in a location, in a specific location, and see if the mortality rate is lower, is getting lower in that location compared to the previous 20 years and compared to another location where this test, my device is not tested. And then I say, please let me know your assessment about my strategy to significantly reduce cancer death and cost. Kind regards, Dario Crosetto, President of the Crosetto Foundation for the Reduction of Cancer Deaths in DeSoto, Texas, United States. Are there any possibility, in the postscriptum I wrote, are there any possibilities to present my strategies to your BECA committee? And I'm looking forward to receive their answer. Then I provided also some reference. The first important is the exact word in test of the European parliamentary question, the one that was asked by a member of the parliament, and then now let me just go through the proposal presented by the rapporteur um, Veronique Triller-Renoir, that I have the document here on the other screen, and let's see, it's 24 pages, and it starts with a draft report, and the first is a motion for an European Parliament resolution, and this is the motion. The motion is on strengthening Europe in the fight against cancer toward a comprehensive and coordinated strategy. And there is a number. So it starts with a lot of bullet points, and let me just read a few of these. Having regarded to its decision on the 18th June 2020 on setting up a special committee on beating cancer and defining its responsibility, numerical strength, and term office. Having regarded to the work document on this special committee on beating cancer of 27 October 2020 entitled Input of the Special Committee on Beating Cancer, BECA, to influence the future Europe beating cancer plan. Having regarded so many pages, and then after this we have okay, having regarded and after all these bullet points there are some items called A, B, C, D, and they start all with whereas Europe's beating cancer plan should effectively respond to the call for progress by the families and doctors of the 1.3 million people who die from cancer each year in Europe, including 6,000 children. The crucial need of patients who are currently in need of efficient and innovative treatments, the rightful expectation of more than 12 million cancer survivors facing the difficulty returning back to a normal life, the clear will of future generations to be protected against health threats, and the concerned government facing a growing economic burden from cancer and its related treatment. B. Whereas Europe represents less than 10% of the world's population, but accounts for a quarter of all cancer cases, and whereas cancer is the second leading cause of death in Europe after cardiovascular disease. On this, I already made the observation several times in several other occasions that we should measure this data, these results, for the people that is younger than 75 years of age, because the life expectancy of a man is 76 and the woman is 80. Okay, this is because we have to die sometimes, and so if the organ that fails first is a heart, then we should not take let's say if 90% of the people die from 80 years of age to 100 of a heart disease, is not really what is important to focus and to cure, but we have to look at to try to keep on health and good life for everybody up to 75 years of age. And if we do that, then we will help also the one at 80 and 90 years of age, but that is just a way of measuring, okay? Anyway, after all this point, there are, the report continues and is structured in two different big chapters. One is called A, Areas of Action, and the second is B, Tools for Actions. On the area of actions, there is cancer prevention in all European policy, and there are, let me see how many points here. I'm not going to read all of that. I let you go through and look at yourself. And we have 30 points. And then the second is inclusive screening and detection of cancer. And this is the one very important that I am interested to comment, and I read very carefully, but I'm not going to comment now. First, I would like to hear what they are saying during this meeting, and then I promise that I will come back and comment each one of these. There are 10 from 31 to 41, 11 in fact, okay? And then we have the tools for action, holistic research, shared knowledge, creating of a European Cancer Institute similar to the one in the United States where I am now, the National Cancer Institute, and then financing this European Beating Cancer Committee. So those are the action. Anyway, I will like to let you read carefully these 24 pages, and we can comment in another occasion after the meeting. Okay. Now I just go through some of the material that you will find in my email, and I post it in Facebook, in YouTube, this oral presentation, and also on a blog and on PDF. PDF is on Google Drive, so if you click on the PDF link and you get the message that it may be suspicious, don't worry, it's safe because it's going to Google Drive. Okay. So among the material that I provided to this email, first of all, I provided the text of the parliamentary question at the European Commission. The subject of this question is 3D CBS project. Then I put the link of the full document. And the text is as follows. The death rate from cancer is very high, and the need to have effective early diagnostics tool available for large-scale use is more essential than ever. The European Union financed phase 1 of a WPET project, wearable PET, an overcoat for cancer screening weighing over 350 kilograms. Can you imagine anybody who can wear that so many kilograms? And to be worn for 24 hours. This is really absurd. I don't know how can be a project like this can be funded with taxpayer money. This has now been modified for phase 2 because after receiving the money from European Commission for phase 1, then the researcher presented and modified for phase 2 on the project with an application for over 2 million euro in funding. So that is what they ask now for a jacket that is now suitable for early diagnosis and weighs is not suitable for early diagnosis and weighs 10 kilograms. 20 years ago, a project for the 3D CBS, 3 complete body screening, was devised. This has the following advantages. 1, it can identify cluster of around 100 cells, cancer cell, before they grow to a billion cell that is 1 cubic centimeter, and would therefore save the lives of over 50% of the people who take the screening test. 2, it only requires a very low level of radiation. In light of a third-party measurement that confirmed the efficacy of the 3D CBS invention, does the Commission plan to share and approve a scientific study with operators and members of the public in view of its potential? So this is really the question, the task requested to the European Commission, if they will approve a scientific study with operators and members of the public in view of its potential. Here in the email they sent to the members of the BECA Committee that it was not included in the parliamentary question is the following. I provided them the reference to the absurd and non-viable WPET project financed by the European Union, an overcoat for cancer screening weighing over 350 kilograms to be worn for 24 hours, modified in phase 2 of the project with an application of over 2 million euro funding for a jacket that is not suitable for early diagnosis weighing 10 kilograms. And here I provided the link to the project. Then among the reference that I provided in this email, I provided a paper submitted to the 2021 Total Body PET conference, and it was this is the title, and I hope it will be approved. Multi 3D CBS whole body screening test, a revolutionary invention making diagnosis based on CAD trends calculating on anomalies in biological processes rather than on a single examination for saving millions of lives and trillions of dollars. Then there is my name, Dario Crosetto, Crosetto Foundation is the author. And the abstract, it was requested to be contained, limited in 300 words, including the reference. So all the text is practically 280 words, divided in 4 sections. One is background, material and method, and then results and conclusion. Here is what I wrote on background. 3D CBS, 3D complete body screening, and then I put a reference. First, through paradigm change in biomedical imaging, invented 21 years ago, confirmed by third-party measured results on a 3D CBS copy as able to safely detect cluster, means a tumor, of 100 cells instead of 1 billion cells, that is 1 cubic centimeter. In material and method, I have been very, very specific, and I said 157 centimeter field of view 3D CBS capable of detecting all possible 511 kiloelectron volt pairs of photons from the tumor markers at the lowest cost per valid pair capture, with component cost less than $2 million per device and $200 for a 2 minutes screening test, and $1,200 for a 15 minutes clinical examination. In 2 hours, in 2 8-hour shifts, can safely perform 360 2 minutes test and 8 15 minutes examination. It is estimated 48 professionals per day are needed, and this professional has been calculated as 8 administration, 4 logistics, 8 nurses, 8 technologists, and 20 doctors at a calculated rate of 400,000 salary per year. So it's not been, let's say, cheap on this. Each doctor is supposed to read for 16 to 20 minutes screening test per day, and for 22 for 22 minutes each, and 1 clinical examination for 68 minutes. So plenty of time to make a good assessment and reading of the examination. People must perform several screening tests on the same machine using the same protocol and radiation dose. To avoid a false positive, because these are the concerns that many people told me. The diagnosis will not be based on a single screening test, but on a computer-aided diagnosis, CAD, a tool calculating trends of anomalies in several screening tests and radiologist experience. The first screening test provides a baseline. Subsequent screening reveal unique hotspots showing increased activity and size of anomalous biological processes requiring deeper investigation. That is the 15 minutes clinical examination. Screening tests before and after surgery detect if any cancer cell have been left over and monitor for recurrence of early curable at a early curable stage. Now, among the results, what is this project providing as result? Means 90,000 tests per year per device for a total of 57 billion tests in 30 years on a 57,000 unit 3D CBS unit, built gradually in 30 years, can save over 100 million lives and over $27 trillion. And this has been documented all in detail in a table that I also provided. So the conclusion is, because early cancer detection can save up to 98% lives, and an experimental test on a sample population of this approach based on a CAD trends calculation over several 3D CBS screening tests will definitely prove that we can save millions of lives and trillions of dollars. So this is not theory. There is the machine that is the copy of my invention that is more expensive as a device, as an examination, but is sufficient, is good to make a test, and then my invention should be approved to get to $200 per test instead of right now that is on this copy is $10,000 per test. Here I provide the table. The table is a powerful tool to plan a strategy to beat cancer, not just using the 3D CBS, but for several other approach, including drugs, including vaccine, including many other things, other device like the copy of my 3D CBS. And one has to answer some questions that are straightforward. It's like asking the age of a person, how much does he weigh, and something like that. That is, how much is the cost of the device, how much is the cost of the screening test, how many tests do you plan to do it for each year, and so on. And then it should estimate the percentage of life saved for the test, means the efficiency. So the overall, let's say, benefits and results is 108 million people lives saved in 30 years for a total cost of $14 trillion. That is much less than the 42 trillion that are currently spent. If we continue like this, it will be spent like that in 30 years. The cost per life saved is $134 compared to the 10 million life saved that is currently, that is the cost of per life saved. And all these are backed up with calculation, with reference that nobody was able to refute. So I explained this graph by saying the graph of the estimated life save and revenue plan for 30 years when using the 3D CBS device. That is the figure. In the background is the table from which the graph has been generated that can be accessed and modified interactively for testing some other devices. And here I provide the link. This table is a very powerful tool to design a strategic plan for different devices, means Explorer, 3D CBS, Siemens Biograph Vision Quadra, products, vaccine, drugs, or procedure, and calculate the efficacy over 30 years for the proposed claim reduction in cancer death and cost estimated theoretically in row 16. And measurement, as measurements are performed year after year on real devices, and by implementing the proposed test protocol, values on row 16 are corrected, providing a more accurate estimate of the total number of lives and cost saving in 30 years. The user of these tables needs to introduce the value in the rows 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, which are easy to determine from the calculation referring to the existing experiment, data, and the products. The data introduced in row 13 estimate the total number of units manufactured each year to reach 57,000 units in 30 years might face the same skepticism as the COVID-19 faced last year. However, when the world realized the importance and urgency of saving millions of lives, even the most challenging problems are solved. If in less than 1 year, several companies were able to produce billions of COVID-19 vaccine from $10 to $20, mask and PPE, and the problem of production, at this point, the problem of the production of 57,000 3D CBS units will be a comparatively easy job. Next, I describe my recent experience of witnessing a person dear to me affected by cancer, and this is really something that we should take into consideration and not, let's say, not ignore it, because this person, she went through all possible screening tests available, colonoscopy, mammography, CAT scan, MRI, and she even took the most important of the 27 screening tests offered by a company here in Dallas called LifelineScreening.com. And no matter of all this, they found only the surgeon, when opened the abdomen, found a tumor 2.5 centimeter that is over 2 billion cells that none of these devices were able to detect. So all these screening tests reassured her that she was cancer-free. Yet not a single screening test was able to detect a primary tumor of over 2 billion cancerous cells in 4 to 10 years before it broke down to its structure and metastasized on other organs. So here there is more detail of this. And now that she went through the 2 surgery, very debilitating surgeries, one, they circulated a chemotherapy liquid in the peritoneum, in the abdomen, for 90 minutes at 106 degrees Fahrenheit to kill the cancer cell at 104. So what is needed after all this painful suffering procedure is, in the future, for the person very dear to me, as well as for millions of people who were diagnosed with cancer, what is needed is a safe screening test with my 3D CBS invention of 21 years ago at $200 per test every 2 months, 3 or 6 months as recommended by the doctor, that is sensitive enough to detect less than 100 cancerous cells before a reoccurrence of cancer grows to 1 million, that is 1 millimeter cube or a billion cell that is 1 centimeter cube. Okay, so this my idea of the 3D CBS of the year 2000 to drastically increase the efficiency of thousands of PET devices in use in the hospital by increasing the length of the PET detector, addressing all details of its implementation in the 2000 book that show feasibility, cost effectiveness, and the benefit of being able to detect less than 100 cancerous cells arouse the interest of people in the field. However, for different objectives, so that is why they copy me. My objective is for a cost-effective cancer screening to save lives, while the objective of others is revealed now that a few PET devices with a long field of view have been built that are focusing on the selection of parameters that are mainly created a device limited to the development of new drugs and for research. So this is why we need to discuss and address this more in more detail and urgently. Okay, thank you.